Gentlemen, let me ask you something that may hit you like a lightning bolt. Did you know that every time you touch yourself without the right protection, you may actually be damaging the very organ you're trying to keep alive and strong? It sounds shocking, but for men over 60, the act that once gave you confidence and relief may now be quietly stealing your firmness, your sensitivity, and even your future performance. My name is Dr. Mohit Khera. I'm a board-certified urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men reclaim their vitality. I've worked with thousands of men who thought they were just getting old, only to discover that small changes in self-care made the difference between decline and a powerful comeback. Here's the paradox. Something as natural and healthy as masturbation, when done without preparation, can lead to micro-tears in your skin, dull your nerve endings, and shorten the time you can stay firm. But when you apply the right natural oil just minutes before, that same act can transform into a form of healing, restoring tissue, improving blood flow, and keeping you hard longer than you thought possible. So let me make a bold promise. This is not about gimmicks, pills, or risky procedures. This is about a safe, natural, science-backed solution that you can start using today. An oil that not only makes things smoother, but actually makes you stronger. And in just a moment, I'll reveal exactly which oils work best, how to use them correctly, and why men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are seeing dramatic improvements in firmness, stamina, and confidence once they follow this simple protocol. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn may change everything. Before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss important men's health advice designed for you. And if this message speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0 and tell me how I can serve you better. Now let's get started with the first key point. As men move past 60, the body undergoes changes that few talk about openly. Your skin produces less natural oil, blood vessels stiffen, and nerves lose sensitivity. These shifts explain why firmness becomes harder to maintain without the right support. 1. Why men over 60 need this more than ever. When I sit across from a man in my office who is in his 60s or 70s, I can almost feel the frustration in his voice before he even says the words. He'll look me in the eye and confess, "Doctor, I just don't feel the same anymore. I can't stay hard the way I used to, and when I do, it doesn't last." And more often than not, there's a heaviness behind that statement. Because for him, it isn't only about the physical act, it's about what it represents: vitality, manhood, and the ability to connect. If you've ever felt that same heaviness, you need to hear this. The truth is that after 60, your body changes in ways that you might not notice until it starts to affect your most private moments. Your skin, for example, no longer produces the natural oils it once did. In your 20s and 30s, the sebaceous glands kept the skin of your penis smooth, hydrated, and elastic. By the time you're in your 60s, those same glands may only be producing half, or even less, of what they once did. The result? The skin becomes drier, thinner, and far more prone to irritation. What used to bounce back after a night's rest now takes days to heal. On top of that, collagen, the protein that gives your skin and tissues their resilience, gradually declines with age. That's why the skin not only feels thinner, but also loses its ability to stretch and recover. Every time you touch yourself without proper lubrication, those tissues are put under stress. Tiny, invisible tears develop, and though you can't see them, you may feel the long-term consequences: reduced sensitivity, slower recovery, and an overall decline in firmness. But that's not all. Inside the blood vessels of your penis, something else is happening. The endothelial lining, the very surface that allows blood vessels to expand and flood the tissue with blood, becomes less responsive as you age. Think of it like a rubber band that's been stretched too many times. It doesn't snap back with the same force. Without healthy, responsive blood flow, even when you feel aroused, the firmness you achieve may not be what it once was, and it may fade faster than you'd like. And then there are the nerves. Over decades, friction without the right lubrication slowly wears on the nerve endings. At first, you may notice you need more stimulation than before, or that you don't feel as much as you once did. Over time, what was once an intensely pleasurable experience begins to feel duller, weaker, less satisfying, Many men tell me they thought this was simply part of aging, but in reality, it's accumulated damage that could have been prevented or at the very least reduced. So why do I say that men over 60 need this more than ever? Because your body isn't giving you the same natural protection it once did. Your skin isn't producing the same oils. Your tissues aren't as elastic. Your vessels and nerves aren't as responsive. Every session without the right support becomes another step toward further decline. But here's the part that gives me hope every time I talk with a patient. It doesn't have to stay this way. You see, the same changes that make your body more vulnerable also make it more responsive to care. When you begin to give your tissues what they're missing, moisture, nourishment, and protection, you don't just prevent further damage. You actually begin to repair what's already been lost. I've watched men who thought they were destined for decline discover new levels of firmness and sensitivity simply because they started doing one thing differently. They used the right oil at the right time, and they did it consistently. Imagine this for yourself. Instead of irritation and dryness, you feel smoothness and comfort. Instead of losing your firmness minutes into a session, you're surprised at how long you can stay strong. Instead of numbness, you feel sensation slowly returning, and with it, a renewed sense of confidence in your own body. That's what's possible when you recognize that after 60, your body doesn't just benefit from support, it demands it. And if you're wondering how exactly natural oils can transform that experience, not just for comfort, but for blood flow, tissue repair, and firmness itself, then you'll want to pay close attention to what comes next. Because the science behind these oils is not only fascinating, it may be the missing link that finally explains why so many men regain their strength after making this one simple change. 2. The science of oils and firmness. When I explain to my patients why natural oils matter, I often see their eyes widen in surprise. Many men believe that lubrication is just about comfort or avoiding friction burns, but the truth goes much deeper than that. The right oils don't simply sit on the surface of your skin. They interact with your tissue, your blood vessels, and even your nerve endings in ways that can profoundly affect firmness and sensitivity. And once you understand how this works, you'll never think about lubrication the same way again. Let me share what happens with most commercial lubricants. These are the ones you pick up at a drugstore, the bottles that promise slickness and ease. They often contain chemicals like glycerin, parabens, and preservatives. While they may feel fine for a few minutes, they don't actually nourish the tissue. In fact, many of these ingredients can dry out the skin, disrupt the natural balance of bacteria, and even cause irritation. They were designed for short-term convenience, not for long-term health. After decades of using these products, some men find themselves less sensitive, more easily irritated, and wondering why their erections don't feel as strong. Natural oils, however, are a different story. Think of them as food for your skin and blood vessels. When you apply them, they don't just coat the surface. They partially absorb into the upper layers of the skin, carrying with them powerful nutrients, vitamin E, omega fatty acids, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds. These nutrients actively support the repair of tissue that has been stressed, stretched, or damaged over years. Instead of leaving the skin weaker, they leave it stronger and more resilient. That's why so many men who switch from synthetic lubricants to natural oils report not only more comfort but also noticeable improvements in sensitivity and stamina. Now let's talk about blood flow, because at the end of the day, firmness comes down to circulation. Erections are nothing more than blood-filling specialized chambers in the penis, and if that blood can't flow freely or stay trapped inside, you lose firmness. Oils rich in certain compounds can stimulate the tiny vessels in the skin to dilate more easily. They help the endothelial cells, the lining of your blood vessels, stay flexible and responsive. This means that when arousal signals your brain to send blood rushing downward, the vessels actually open up the way they should. Many men underestimate how powerful even a small improvement in local circulation can be. For someone who has been struggling to stay firm, those extra few minutes of healthy blood flow can feel like a miracle. The other piece of the puzzle is nerve sensitivity. Over years, friction without enough protection wears down those delicate endings. You may not notice it happening day by day, but eventually you find yourself needing more stimulation, more pressure, and still not feeling the same intensity you once did. Oils that contain anti-inflammatory properties help calm the low-level irritation that dulls those nerves. Meanwhile, vitamins like niacin and riboflavin can support nerve health and repair. With consistent use, some men actually report that they begin to feel more again, something they thought they had lost forever. I've had older patients tell me that after just a few weeks of using the right oil, their experience changed completely. What had felt dull became alive again. What had ended quickly began to last, and what had been tinged with frustration started to feel hopeful. It's a reminder that our bodies are not fixed in decline. They can respond, they can heal, and they can surprise us if we give them what they need. So you see, the science of oils isn't about gimmicks or quick fixes. It's about working with your body, not against it. It's about understanding that the skin, the vessels, and the nerves all benefit when you stop treating lubrication as an afterthought and start seeing it as part of your health. And if you're wondering which oils deliver these benefits most effectively, stay with me, because in the next section, I'm going to walk you through the very best options for men over 60, and some of them may already be sitting in your kitchen. 3. The best oils for men over 60. Whenever I sit with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, and tell them about using natural oils before they touch themselves, I often see two reactions. First, a look of surprise, almost disbelief, that something so simple could make such a difference. And then, after they try it, I see something even more powerful: relief, confidence, and in many cases, a sense of rediscovery. Because these oils are not just slippery helpers, they are healing agents. They nourish the skin, protect the blood vessels, and help restore sensitivity that many men thought was gone for good. Let me walk you through the oils I recommend most often, the ones that have proven themselves again and again in my clinical experience. The first is coconut oil, perhaps the most versatile and widely available of them all. Virgin, unrefined coconut oil is rich in lauric acid, a natural compound that helps fight bacteria and fungi. This is especially helpful for men who are uncircumcised or prone to irritation. But beyond protection, coconut oil has a way of enhancing blood flow locally. Some of my patients tell me that when they use it, they feel harder for longer, and I believe them. The vitamin E in coconut oil also helps repair micro tears and improve elasticity, making the skin healthier over time. Another favorite of mine is sweet almond oil. This one is lighter and absorbs quickly, but don't mistake that for weakness. Almond oil is packed with vitamin E, even more than coconut oil, and it also contains B vitamins like niacin and riboflavin. These nutrients directly support nerve health. Men who complain about reduced sensitivity often find that almond oil, when used consistently, helps bring some of that feeling back. It calms inflammation, nourishes the nerves, and provides just the right balance of glide without being overly greasy. I often describe almond oil as the Goldilocks option. Not too heavy, not too light, just right for extended sessions. For men whose main concern is circulation and stamina, grapeseed oil is an excellent choice. This oil is lighter still, but it carries powerful antioxidants called proanthocyanidins. These compounds strengthen the walls of blood vessels and improve their ability to deliver blood where it's needed. Better blood flow means firmer erections and more endurance. Grapeseed oil also contains vitamin E and linoleic acid, which keep the skin barrier strong and resilient. Many men who use it report that their skin feels healthier, less prone to irritation, and more balanced overall. Jojoba oil is another remarkable option, though technically it isn't an oil at all but a wax ester. That unique structure makes it almost identical to the sebum your skin naturally produces. When you apply it, your body recognizes it and absorbs it quickly, helping regulate moisture. If your skin is too dry, it provides what's missing. If your skin is too oily, it signals the glands to slow down. Jojoba also contains zinc and copper, minerals that are essential for tissue repair and nerve sensitivity. Men with especially delicate or reactive skin often find jojoba oil to be the safest and most effective option for long-term use. And then there's argan oil, the premium choice. I'll be honest, it's more expensive than the others, but in many ways, it earns that title. Argan oil is rich in vitamin E and squalene, both of which improve elasticity and moisture retention in aging skin. It also contains ferulic acid, a compound that supports blood vessel health and circulation. The texture is smooth and luxurious, absorbing well while still leaving enough on the surface for long-lasting glide. Men who invest in argan oil often tell me it feels like they've given their body something truly special, and the results they describe, firmer tissue, better endurance, less irritation, make it clear that this oil deserves its reputation. Now, you don't need to use all of these oils at once. In fact, doing so would be unnecessary and even counterproductive. The key is to choose the one that aligns with your primary concern. If you need overall protection, go with coconut. If sensitivity is your issue, try almond. For circulation and firmness, choose grapeseed. For skin health, jojoba. And if you want the ultimate in premium care, argan may be worth the investment. Each of these oils has its strengths, but all of them share one thing in common. They work with your body to restore what time has taken away. And here's where it gets truly interesting. Knowing which oil to use is only half the story. The real transformation happens when you learn how to use them properly, when to apply, how much to apply, and how to let them work with your body instead of against it. Because if you're not careful, you can actually miss out on the full benefits these oils provide. So let's move forward and explore exactly how to apply these oils the right way, step by step, to make sure you get maximum results every time. 4. How to use these oils correctly. Over the years, I've discovered that the difference between success and disappointment doesn't just lie in the type of oil you choose, it's in how you use it. I can't count the number of men who have walked into my office saying, "Doctor, I tried coconut oil once, but it didn't do much." And when I asked them how they used it, the truth comes out. They scooped some out of the jar, applied it right before, and expected a miracle. That's not how it works. These oils are powerful, but like any therapy, they must be used with intention, patience, and consistency. The first rule is timing. If you apply the oil the moment you start, you've already missed the best window for absorption. The skin needs 5 to 10 minutes to soak in those vitamins, fatty acids, and antioxidants so they can begin to work. Think of it like feeding your tissue. Just as your muscles need fuel before exercise, your intimate tissue needs nourishment before activity. By applying the oil a few minutes ahead, you give your body the chance to draw in what it needs and be ready for the stress that's about to come. The second rule is temperature. I've seen men scoop cold oil directly onto sensitive skin, and I'll tell you right now, that's not only uncomfortable, it's ineffective. The oil spreads poorly when cold, leaving clumps that don't glide smoothly. Instead, take a moment to warm it in your hands. Feel it melt. Let it become part of your touch before it even reaches your skin. That warmth not only improves absorption, but also creates a more natural, soothing experience. You'll notice the difference instantly. The third rule is quantity. More is not always better. In fact, too much oil can reduce sensation by creating a barrier that dulls nerve signals. Start small. Half a teaspoon is enough for most men. You can always add more as you go, but it's harder to take it away once you've used too much. I often tell my patients to think of this as seasoning a meal. You want just enough to bring out the flavor, not so much that it overwhelms the dish. Another point that often gets overlooked is reapplication. During longer sessions, the oil will gradually absorb and the glide will lessen. If you want to maintain comfort and protection, don't push through the dryness. Pause for a moment, reapply a small amount, and continue. That short break not only protects your skin, but also extends your stamina by giving you a natural reset. Many men tell me that this simple habit allows them to last far longer than before. For men with very specific concerns, there are advanced combinations worth trying. If sensitivity is your biggest challenge, mix sweet almond oil with the contents of a vitamin E capsule. That concentrated boost of nerve support can bring feeling back in a way that plain oil alone cannot. For those who want luxury and healing, blending jojoba with argan oil creates a synergy of balance and deep nourishment. These mixtures aren't gimmicks. They're science-backed enhancements that can elevate your results. But as much as I emphasize technique, I also emphasize consistency. One application will not transform your experience overnight. Just as exercise builds muscle over weeks, using oils regularly builds healthier tissue over time. The men who commit to this daily or near-daily ritual are the ones who come back to me weeks later with astonished faces saying, "Doctor, I didn't think this was possible at my age." And here's the beauty of it. It's not just the physical improvement. The very act of slowing down, of preparing your body with care, changes the way you relate to yourself. You stop rushing. You stop treating your body like a machine. You begin to treat it like something worthy of respect. That mindset alone can make intimacy, even with yourself, more fulfilling. Now, knowing how to use these oils is critical, but it's only half the story. Because as powerful as these natural substances are, they're not without their cautions. If you want to get the benefits without the setbacks, you need to understand the safety rules every man must follow. And once you hear them, you'll realize why skipping this step can undo all your progress. 5. Safety rules. Every man must know. Over my decades as a urologist, I've learned at Siki that what helps one man thrive can cause another man problems if he isn't careful, and that's why I always insist, before you begin using oils, you need to respect the safety rules. Too many men assume that because something is natural, it's automatically safe. But when it comes to the most sensitive part of your body, that assumption can lead to frustration, irritation, or even long-term damage. I don't want that for you. I want you to experience the benefits without setbacks, and that means approaching this with wisdom. The first rule is testing. Never assume your skin will tolerate a new oil without reaction. Even natural products can cause sensitivity in certain individuals. I always advise men to do what's called a patch test. Place a small amount of the oil on the inside of your forearm, an area where the skin is thin, and wait 24 hours. If you see no redness, itching, or rash, you can feel more confident about using it on more delicate tissue. Skipping this step is like walking into unknown territory without a flashlight. It may be fine, but you're taking a risk you don't need to take. The second rule is compatibility with protection. If you're using condoms, you must understand that oils and latex do not mix. Oils break down latex, weakening the barrier and making it unreliable. I've seen men come to me with unplanned consequences simply because they didn't know this. If protection is part of your intimacy, choose condoms made of polyurethane or polyisoprene instead, or switch to a water-based lubricant in those moments. Knowledge here isn't just about performance, it's about responsibility. The third rule is hygiene. Oils feel wonderful during the act, but if they linger without being washed away, they can create an environment where bacteria thrive. Especially for uncircumcised men, oil that stays trapped under the foreskin can lead to irritation or even infection. Always wash before and after use with mild soap and warm water. This isn't about being fussy, it's about protecting your long-term health. Think of it the same way you'd care for your mouth after eating. You wouldn't leave food on your teeth and expect them to stay healthy. Your intimate skin deserves that same level of respect. The fourth rule is storage. Oils are natural substances, and like any food or plant-based product, they can spoil. Heat, light, and air exposure break them down. If an oil smells off, changes color, or develops a strange texture, it's no longer safe to use. Rancid oil can irritate your skin and strip away the very benefits you were hoping to gain. Keep your oils in a cool, dark place, tightly sealed, and always pay attention to their condition before applying them. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, listen to your body. If you ever notice irritation, unusual discomfort, or anything that doesn't feel right, stop immediately. Don't push through pain or hope it will get better on its own. Your body speaks to you in whispers before it shouts, and those whispers, mild itching, redness, or soreness, are signs worth respecting. Ignoring them risks turning a small issue into a serious one. These safety rules may sound simple, but they are the foundation of success. When you follow them, you ensure that your efforts build you up instead of tearing you down. And there's something empowering about that, knowing that you are not only taking steps to improve firmness and sensitivity, but also safeguarding your health for the long run. But safety is only one side of the story. The other side is deeply personal, emotional even. Because at the end of the day, what's really at stake here isn't just avoiding irritation. It's about preserving your dignity, your confidence, and your sense of manhood. And that's why, in the next section, I want to talk about the emotional side of this journey, the part most doctors overlook, but every man over 60 feels deep in his bones. 6. The emotional side. Why this matters. Whenever I speak with men in their 60s or 70s about intimacy, the conversation often shifts from the physical to the deeply personal. I can see it in their eyes, hear it in the pauses between their words. This isn't just about erections or technique, it's about identity, confidence, and the quiet fear of losing something that has defined them as men. Many of my patients confess that what bothers them most isn't only the difficulty staying firm, but the way it makes them feel less like themselves. That loss of confidence can creep into other parts of life, stealing joy and creating distance in relationships. And I want you to know, if you've ever felt that way, you are far from alone. The truth is, sexual health at this stage of life isn't about chasing youth. It's about preserving dignity and connection. A firm erection is more than a physical response. It's a symbol of vitality, a reassurance that your body is still capable, still alive, still yours to command. When that begins to slip away, it can feel as though part of your identity is slipping with it. I've seen proud, strong men walk into my office feeling defeated, convinced that their best days are behind them. And I've seen those same men walk out weeks later, their shoulders straighter, their voices stronger, because they realized they could reclaim what they thought was gone. The oils we've been discussing may sound simple, almost too simple, but their impact is profound. Because when you nourish your tissues, protect your nerves, and support blood flow, you're not just improving performance, you're sending a message to yourself. I still matter. My pleasure, my confidence, my manhood are worth investing in. That shift in mindset is often even more powerful than the physical results. It changes the way a man carries himself, the way he interacts with his partner, the way he sees his future. I've had patients tell me that after just a few weeks of consistent care, they felt more sensation than they had in years. One man in his 70s broke down in tears in my office because, for the first time in over a decade, he felt fully alive during intimacy. He said it wasn't just about the physical release, it was about feeling whole again. Another patient told me his wife noticed the change before he did, not just in the bedroom, but in the way he looked at her, touched her, and approached life with more energy. That's the ripple effect of reclaiming this part of yourself. And let's be honest, there is no pill in the world that can restore your sense of manhood if you don't believe in your own worth. What we're talking about here, taking time to prepare, to nourish, to protect, becomes an act of self-respect. It's a ritual that tells your body and your mind you are still vital, still capable, still worthy of pleasure. That emotional reassurance can be life-changing because when you believe in yourself again, the body often follows. So, why does this matter? Because it's not about vanity or chasing lost youth. It's about protecting one of the deepest parts of your identity. It's about keeping the spark alive, not only for yourself, but for the people you love. It's about refusing to accept decline as destiny. And when you take this step, you may find that your confidence returns in ways that surprise you, whether it's in the bedroom, at the dinner table, or simply when you look in the mirror. Now, if you're feeling inspired, you may be wondering, what exactly should I do next? How do I put this knowledge into practice in a way that brings real, lasting results? That's exactly what I want to share with you in the next section, because I'll give you my prescription, the step-by-step plan that I recommend to every man who wants to not only regain firmness, but keep it strong for years to come. 7. My prescription for men over 60. After guiding thousands of men through this exact challenge, I've learned that success doesn't come from random efforts or quick fixes. It comes from a clear, consistent plan. When men ask me, "Doctor, what exactly should I do?" I give them the same prescription I'd give to my closest friend or brother. It's simple, it's practical, and if you follow it, you will begin to see changes not just in performance, but in how you feel about yourself. Here's how I would have you begin. First, pick one oil. Don't overwhelm yourself with 5 different bottles sitting on the nightstand. Start with the one that speaks to your biggest need. If you want all-around protection and moisture, coconut oil is your entry point. If you're chasing sensitivity, almond oil will serve you well. If circulation is the issue, Grapeseed oil is the right ally. For men with fragile skin, jojoba is the answer. And for those who want to invest in premium care, argan oil is unmatched. The key is to choose one, commit, and let your body show you what it can do. Next, apply it with intention. Take a half teaspoon, warm it in your hands, and massage it into the shaft and glands 5 to 10 minutes before any activity. Don't rush this moment. Treat it as preparation, almost like priming a canvas before painting. By the time you begin, the nutrients will already be at work and your skin will be ready. During longer sessions, keep the bottle close by. When you notice dryness or fading glide, pause and reapply. That pause isn't a disruption, it's part of the ritual. It gives your body a reset and often allows you to last longer than you expect. Third, stay consistent. I cannot emphasize this enough. One application won't change your life, but 30 days of steady use absolutely can. I tell my patients, don't just look for overnight miracles. Track your progress. Notice how your sensitivity shifts, how firmness lasts longer, how your recovery speeds up. Over time, the cumulative benefits will surprise you. Tissue heals, blood vessels respond, nerves wake up. It's not magic, it's biology, and it works when you commit. For men who want to maximize results, you can try simple enhancements. Combine almond oil with the contents of a vitamin E capsule to supercharge nerve repair, or blend jojoba with argan oil for both immediate glide and long-term resilience. Some men even add a drop of peppermint oil for increased circulation, but only with caution because essential oils are powerful. What matters most is that you experiment carefully, take notes, and learn what your body responds to best. Finally, approach this with patience and respect for yourself. Too many men treat their own bodies like machines, rushing in, expecting performance without preparation, and then feeling frustrated when things don't work. What I'm asking you to do is different. I'm asking you to honor your body, to prepare it, to care for it the way you would care for something precious. Because that's what it is. You only get one body, and even in your 60s or 70s, it is capable of far more than you may believe. I've seen men in their late 70s regain not only firmness, but also confidence and joy they thought were lost forever. And it didn't happen because of a pill or a device. It happened because they committed to a daily practice of nourishing and protecting themselves. That's my prescription to you. Choose one oil, apply it with care, use it consistently, and let time do the rest. Now, you may be wondering, what happens if you actually stick with this plan? What kind of transformation can you expect after weeks or even months of giving your body this kind of care? In the conclusion, I'll share the bigger picture, how these small daily choices can add up to a profound change in not only your erections, but your overall quality of life. Conclusion: investing in your intimate health. As we come to the end of this journey, I want you to remember something important. This isn't about chasing youth or trying to be 20 again. It's about honoring the man you are today and giving your body what it needs to thrive. We've talked about how aging changes your skin, your blood flow, and your sensitivity. We've explored how natural oils can nourish and protect, how to apply them correctly, how to stay safe, and why this matters so deeply to your confidence and your sense of self. I've given you a prescription, not just for firmness, but for reclaiming a part of your vitality that still belongs to you. I've seen countless men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who thought their best days were behind them, only to discover that with consistent care, their bodies could respond in ways they never imagined. And when that happens, it doesn't just change your performance, it changes how you walk, how you talk, how you see yourself in the mirror. That spark of confidence, that quiet pride, can ripple through every part of your life. So my advice to you is simple. Choose your oil, use it with intention, and give yourself the gift of consistency. Because you're not just protecting your body, you're protecting your dignity, your joy, and your manhood for years to come.